welcome to Yan Yan's Tea House. Today's video is a little different. I'll stay indoor and drink some tea. It is inspired by my trip to Chaoshan and Shantou earlier this year. The Chaoshan region is an area in East Guangdong province with very distinctive culture. A big part of Chaoshan culture and lifestyle is drinking tea. The Chaoshan-style tea is also called Gongfu Cha, sometimes translated as Kung Fu tea. What does that mean? Do they punch each other when drinking tea? In this video, I'll show you how Chaoshan people drink tea. Before showing you how Chaoshan people drink tea, I'll first show you how I drink tea. It's a more common practice in area outside Chaoshan region. This is a fair pitcher or fair cup. Usually, we pour the tea water out into this first. This way, the concentration of tea soup would be the same. And then we pour the water into individual cups. But Chaoshan people don't do it this way. Chaoshan people pour the tea soup directly into teacups. Usually, they use 3 cups. It's a tradition that dates back for centuries. The 3 cups represent the Chinese character 品, which means tasting. Tea tasting, 品茶. Wine tasting, 品酒. The character 品 could also mean good characters of human beings, such as integrity and so on. Chaoshan people use 3 cups to mean tasting good tea with good friends who have good characters. In both my way and Chaoshan way, the first step is to warm the tea set with hot water. During this step, Chaoshan people would wash the cups by rolling them in hot water. Some do it with a pair of tongs. I love watching this process, but I don't master the skill, so I just simply pour the water out. This is Chaoshan Dancong tea. Usually, we don't drink the first infusion. Not using a fair cup doesn't mean Chaoshan people don't care about fairness. They pour tea soup into 3 teacups in turn to ensure fairness. This is more difficult to do than using a fair cup. If you don't move your arm quickly, you get this. In Chaozhou, I also learned how to taste the tea soup. Listen. Curl your tongue and inhale. So, no punching during the process of making and drinking the tea. It's actually a very gentle process. Then why is it called Gongfu Cha? What does Gongfu mean? In Chinese, Gongfu means an exquisite skill. No matter it's rolling the cups in hot water or pouring the tea soup fairly into the cups, making Gongfu Cha is an exquisite skill and it requires a lot of practice. Chaoshan people start doing this when they are kids so they can do it naturally. Gongfu in Chinese also means free time. As you can see, making Gongfu tea really needs some free time. It's not something to grab and go. If you look at the tea, you would find stamps in it. Some people who know certain degree but not much about Chinese tea would think this implies low quality. That might be true in Chinese green or red tea, but Dantong tea is different. There are 6 categories of tea in China: green, yellow, white, red, black, and oolong tea. Are you overwhelmed? Is the Chinese tea so colorful? The difference lies in the different techniques in producing the tea, specifically different level of fermentation. I don't want to get you more confused. For now, just remember, Dantong tea is a type of oolong tea. Boasting a tea production history of more than 900 years, Chaozhou is known as the home of Dantong tea. The best Dantong tea is from Mount Fenghuang in the north of the city. During my trip to Chaozhou, I went to a Dantong tea museum built in an ancient house up in the mountain. On display were different types of tea tree leaves. For Dantong tea, different leaves are processed separately. That's where the name Dantong is from. Dan means single. Each Dantong tea has a single type of leaves. As a result, Dantong tea has different varieties and they have subtly different aroma and taste. Chaozhou people use flowers to name different types of Dantong tea: sweet lily, Cape jasmine, and so on. Dantong tea is sometimes called tea of perfume because of the special aroma it owns and its lingering finishes. Dantong tea is a type of oolong tea which is partially fermented. One step in production of oolong tea is to shake the leaves to get the edge of the leaves oxidized and fermented through friction. The leaves of oolong tea after this process are described as green leaves with red fringe. That's the icon of oolong tea. In comparison, red tea is fully fermented and green tea is zero fermented. The colors of the tea soup range from dark to light. For green tea, usually we just soak the tea in hot water. But if Dantong tea is made this way, we would get soup with astringent taste. Dantong tea requires a proper way to make. First, infuse with boiling water. Hot water helps get the aroma out. To avoid the astringent taste, the key is to pull the soup out as soon as possible. If the tea is soaked in water for long, you get that astringent taste. Once it's in the first infusion, it stays in every infusion. That's why in China, Dantong tea is not popular outside the Chaoshan area. It's not easy to make. We have 2 words for tea: tea and cha, as in Gongfu cha. Why is that? They were from 2 different dialects of Chinese and 2 different trading routes. With a few minor exceptions, there are only 2 ways to say tea in the world. One is like the English term tea, and the other is some variation of cha. In Chinese, tea is called cha. The words that sounds like cha spread across land along the Silk Road on which tea was traded over 2,000 years ago. It began in China and made its way through Central Asia to Persia. From Persia, it spread to today's India and Pakistan, the Arabian Peninsula, Turkey, and other regions. It even made its way to sub-Saharan Africa. As close neighbors, the Japanese and Korean also had terms for tea based on the Chinese cha. The tea-like phrasings spread over ocean by Dutch, who became the primary traders of tea between Europe and Asia in the 17th century. The main Dutch ports in China were in Fujian and Taiwan, both places where people speak Hokkien dialect. In Hokkien dialect, drinking tea is pronounced as lim de. In Chaoshan dialect, drinking tea is pronounced as jiap de. As you can see, both language pronounced as de. The de form used in Chinese coastal dialects spread to Europe. Today, the Spanish pronunciation of tea is almost the same as the Hokkien pronunciation. De. ¿Me traes una taza de té, por favor? The English form also came from the Dutch word. It was initially spelled thea, but eventually evolved into today's tea. Portuguese is an exception in European language in terms of the word tea. That involved a different coastal dialect in China, Cantonese. Portuguese traded tea from Macau, a city it occupied for centuries. Macau is near Guangzhou in Guangdong province. Cantonese is used there. In Cantonese, tea is pronounced something like cha. It's actually close to Mandarin pronunciation, cha. That's why, although same from the ocean trade, Portuguese imported a word for tea different from other European countries. A famous scholar from Chaoshan region once generalized the difference between coffee and tea. He said, "Coffee is stimulating. It represents an impulsive culture. Tea is calm and rational. It represents the harmony in Chinese culture. Chinese tea culture emphasizes calmness." Well, there's also caffeine in tea, and overdrinking would also cause insomnia. On the other hand, one can drink a coffee and also get relaxed. This is not black or white. But generally speaking, when we drink tea, we're in a very relaxing status. And our culture do emphasize calmness, composure, and strategizing in a longer way instead of reacting in a compulsive way. So next time when you are worried or nervous, try some Chinese tea and try the Chinese way. It's very calming and relaxing. Thanks for watching the video. I'm Yan Yan. If you are interested in Chinese culture and history, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.